16 severed right hands pulled from the Egyptian dirt. But why only the right hand? Where was the rest of the body? Over in Europe, a child is found buried face down with a heavy iron padlock chained to their foot. And in the scorching deserts of Saudi Arabia, an underground lava tube holds the dark, bone-filled secrets of ancient civilizations. Archaeologists are pulling things out of the ground that are literally rewriting our history books. Let's dive right into it. The severed hands of Egypt. Back in 2012, a team of archaeologists was excavating an ancient palace in Egypt. They were hoping to score some old clay pots, ancient coins, or maybe a little gold jewelry. But as one researcher was brushing away the dirt, they hit a stark white bone. They stopped everything, carefully cleared the area, and stared down at two human hands. As they dug deeper, they uncovered 3 large pits. Inside, 16 severed human hands. And here's the kicker, every single one of them was a right hand, not a single left hand in the bunch. They were arranged almost like seeds planted in the soil, with the fingers pointing up. Plus, they were massive, much larger than an average person's hand today. When this hit the internet, conspiracy theories went wild. Dark magic, portals to the underworld, offerings to aliens. The reality is actually much more brutal. Lab tests proved these hands were 3,600 years old, dating back to a time when a foreign group called the Hyksos invaded and ruled from their capital, Avaris. All 16 hands belonged to adult males who died around the same time. The answer to this mystery was actually carved into the walls of a temple 500 kilometers away in Luxor. In ancient Egypt, warfare was ruthless. If a soldier killed an enemy, he would chop off the enemy's right hand and bring it back to the palace. Why the right hand? Because a man without it could never hold a sword or a spear again. The soldier would toss the severed hand into a pit, and the king would reward him with a sack of gold. A gruesome bounty system known as the Gold of Valor. It was basically a brutal ancient accounting system to count the dead. The secret chamber beneath Giza. Now, let's talk about a massive discovery right next to the Great Pyramids. In May 2024, a team of geophysicists was scanning a completely flat, sandy area just outside the Giza pyramids using ground-penetrating radar, or GPR. This tech lets scientists see meters into the earth without lifting a single shovel. Suddenly, their screens lit up with a bizarre wave pattern. The radar picked up a massive L-shaped tunnel, 10 meters long and 15 meters wide, buried deep underground. But it gets crazier. Beneath this tunnel, the radar detected a massive hollow cavity dropping another 10 meters down. Basically, a secret underground room. Internet sleuths immediately started talking about the mythical Hall of Records, or a lost underground city. But to understand the truth, you have to look at ancient Egyptian engineering. Archaeologists believe this L-shaped trench was carved out of solid limestone by the pyramid builders. It might have been a massive stone quarry or a ramp to haul the heavy pyramid blocks. But why the secret room? And why was the trench completely filled with thousands of tons of sand? Experts think it was a genius security measure. Ancient architects would build these deep structures over real tombs and pack them with loose sand. If grave robbers tried to dig down, the sand would just keep caving in on them, making it impossible to reach the real burial chamber below. Once the pyramids were finished, the builders likely filled in the whole quarry to make the Giza plateau look flat and flawless. The vampire child of Poland, moving over to Poland. In August 2023, researchers at Nicolaus Copernicus University were excavating a 17th century graveyard in the small village of Pien. This wasn't a normal cemetery, it was a burial ground for outcasts. While digging, they found a tiny skull, but this was no ordinary grave. It was a child's skeleton, buried face down. And the most terrifying detail? A heavy iron padlock was clamped around the child's foot. In the ancient world, burying someone face down with a lock meant one thing. You were terrified they were going to wake up, and you wanted to make sure they dug their way straight down into hell, not up to the surface. The media immediately dubbed it a vampire child. Back in the 1600s, Europe was gripped by a massive vampire panic. If a kid acted strange or got sick, superstitious villagers assumed they were possessed. After they died, people believed they would rise from the grave to drink their family's blood. But DNA and forensic tests revealed a heartbreaking truth. This wasn't a monster. It was a child suffering from tuberculosis, TB. Before modern medicine and microscopes, people had no idea what germs were. TB made the child incredibly weak, pale, and sickly. The terrified, uneducated villagers mistook a tragic illness for a demonic curse, locking the poor kid to the earth for eternity. The Bone Cave of Saudi Arabia. Finally, we head to the blazing deserts of Saudi Arabia, right into the heart of a massive lava tube called Jirsan. Lava tubes form when a volcano erupts, and the top layer of lava cools and hardens into rock, while the hot lava underneath keeps flowing out, leaving behind a massive hollow cave. Recently, researchers from Griffith University and the Max Planck Institute rappelled down into the pitch-black darkness of Jirsan. What they found at the bottom was straight out of a nightmare. The floor was covered in thousands upon thousands of bones, human skulls, animal skeletons, and scattered sharpened stone tools. When they ran radiocarbon dating on the bones and dirt, scientists were blown away. Some of these remains were over 7,000 years old. But this wasn't the lair of a creepy desert death cult. 7 millennia ago, the Arabian Peninsula wasn't a harsh desert. It was a lush green landscape. Nomadic herders raised cattle and goats here. This massive lava tube was actually a strategic oasis, a transit point where ancient herders would take shelter, protecting their families and their livestock from the blistering sun and dangerous desert raiders. The rock art on the cave walls even shows pictures of the goats and cattle they kept safe inside. Our planet is still hiding mind-blowing secrets right beneath our feet. Which of these discoveries is the craziest to you? Let me know down in the comments. Catch you in the next one.